What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So in my last video I went over a Shallot deck list, and it was a bit of a work in progress deck list since in the online client I'm missing a lot of cards, but in person I do have all the cards I need for pretty much a fully optimized deck. I would say this is mostly optimized. Maybe you can swap out a few cards here and there, mess with the ratios a little bit to sort of tech into different matchups, right? But overall I think this deck list is very solid. So this is going to be the fully upgraded version of the deck list. I recently played Shallot in my locals. Actually in my locals a couple times I went 3-1 with. The last time I got second place, I went up against two Shallot mirrors. Actually in the first two rounds I was able to win, beat a red cell just barely, and then lost to a Kid Buu in the finals, getting second place with this deck list. So Shallot's very fun. I think it's probably the best black deck at the moment. I'm not quite sure about Bulma, to be honest. I haven't really done any testing with Bulma yet, but that is going to be my next deck that I sort of dive into. But as of right now, I would say Shallot is probably the best black deck, and he is very fun to play. So I just want to go over the leader again real quick and go over the deck list. I'll leave a link to the deck list down in the description below if you just want to like copy and paste it into the digital client or whatever other deck builder that you might use. So starting off with the leader, we have Shallot, which is a black leader, 15k power on his front side, activate main, pay 4 energy, play up to 1 battle card with 10k combo power insane and its special traits from your hand. And of course this deck revolves around that ability, playing a lot of 6-cost cards, cheating them out for 4 energy. One thing to note is that he does not draw on his front side, so you do not want to swing into your opponent's leader when you are unawakened, because you're essentially just going to be giving them a free card. Since you attack into them, they take a card from life and you don't get a card on draw, so you're essentially losing a card that way. You really don't want to swing with this guy until you are awakened, so it's really important to awaken as fast as possible with this guy, especially in the Shallot mirrors. I feel like it's whoever awakens first in the mirror is probably going to be winning the game. So when you do awaken at 4 life on his backside, 20k power, when attacking, draw a card, and then he has the same activate main effect. So pretty much the same as the front side, except that you now get to draw on attack, which is very nice. And one thing I will say about Shallot is that typically you want to go second with this leader, right? I would say typically you want to go second like with all black leaders, because they do revolve around the energy marker a lot. This allows you to use your leader ability a turn earlier if you have the energy marker. Now you can still generate an energy marker if you're going first, but the thing is you kind of have to find the cards you need in order to generate the energy marker going first. If you're going second, you automatically start with the energy marker, so you're playing a little bit more comfortably that way. So I would say generally with this deck you want to be going second. Okay, and now let's get into the actual deck list of cards here. So starting off, I'm running 3 copies of this Kid Goku from the starter deck. 1 cost, 10k power, 5k combo power. Activate main once per turn if your leader Shallot, draw a card, then place 1 card from your hand on top of its owner's deck. So I talked about this a little bit in the last video, but I'm actually playing this instead of the field card. I know people like to play the field card in this deck, but I prefer this card for a couple of different reasons. 1, I prefer the fact that it has counter power, and 2, I prefer the fact that the card that you put on top of your deck is essentially guaranteed, right? Because you're putting a card from your hand on top of your deck. Let's say you're searching for a 6-cost card with the field, and you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, right? And you can put them back at the top of the deck or bottom of your deck, but there may be times where you just don't find a 6-cost card, and then you bottom deck them, sure, and then you kind of just whiff randomly onto a 6-cost in the top, right? And sometimes that can work. Sometimes just blindly, you know, looking for a 6-cost on the top of your deck, sometimes that can work, but this is always going to be guaranteed as long as you have another 6-cost card in your hand. So that's what I like about this card, and I like that it's activate main effect instead of the field is activate battle as well, because sometimes like you want to activate this ability before you make any attacks right on your turn. So 3 of those guys, and then we are running 4 copies of the Jaco. I think people are kind of split on this card. I really like him personally. It is a 1-cost cantrip, meaning he draws a card, replaces himself, right? 5k power, 0k combo power. That is the big downside, but he does have blocker. So This card, I think it's a bit personal preference. I really like this guy. He is going to be bad into some matchups such as like red because they can -5 very easily, right? Or yellow, they just rest him and swing into him. So I would say red and yellow, he's pretty easy to get rid of, but the other colors, they might have to invest a little bit more energy or cards into getting rid of him. But if he stays on the board, like, it's just a free block, right? Which can really be more valuable than 5k combo power in most scenarios. But I would say ultimately it's down to personal preference. If you want to play him, you can. If you want to play a basic cantrip with a 5k combo power instead, you can do that as well. Next up, we are going into our Self-Awakeners, starting off with Nappa from the starter deck. We got 4 copies of this guy, 1 cost, 5k power, 10k combo power. On play, if your leader Shallot, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, then look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and place them at the top of their owner's deck in any order. So again, like I said, with this deck, it's very important to awaken pretty much as soon as possible, so this helps us do that. He has 10k combo power and he stacks the top of our deck. Very, very good card, automatic 4 of. Another Self-Awakener, we got 4 copies of this Chi-Chi, 1 cost, 5k power, 10k combo power. On play, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, and then auto, when this card is used in a combo from the battle area, use up to 1 battle card in a combo from your drop. This card is just insanely good, right? It's a 1 cost Self-Awakener. It has 10k combo power, but with its auto effect, you essentially can add another 10k combo on top of this, right? So let's say you use this to combo. We had a Nappa in our drop, and then we add him on top of this for a 20k combo. So this card is really nuts. I think this is a 4 of in, I want to say, pretty much every black deck right now. This card is just so good. And then I'm running 2 copies of the Trunks. I really like this guy. I've seen some people kind of be like iffy on him. Some people play him more like at 1. Some people play him at 3. Me, I feel like 2 is a good amount. So it's a 2 cost, 20k attacker, 5k combo power. Permanent opponent's turn, if you have an energy marker, your non-Trunks GT battle cards can't be removed from the battle area by your opponent's skills, and then on play, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. So this card is very good for a couple different reasons. One, it does have combo power. It has 20k attack if you do want to swing with it, but most of the time, you're just going to leave him on the board for his permanent effect to protect your board from being removed. And with the Jaco, being able to protect the Jaco is very nice, right? Because there are going to be some decks like blue that can just like bottom deck this really easily, but they can't if you have the Trunks on the field with the energy marker. So that's why I really like this Trunks, and the fact that he's a Self-Awakener too is really cool. Next up, we got 4 copies of Vegito from the starter deck. So this is a 2 cost card, 20k attack, 5k combo power. Permanent, increase the cost of this card in a deck or battle area by 4. So essentially you can pay 2 energy to play this card out, but it's going to cost as a 6 cost card to synergize with your other effects in the deck. And then on play, place 1 card from your hand on top of its owner's deck. If your leader is Shallot and you don't have an energy marker, you place 1 energy marker. So this guy is very important for going first, actually, again, because you want to get the energy marker, right? And if you don't have an energy marker, then he can generate 1 for you very, very easily. So this is a card I'm usually looking for on my mulligan if I'm going first. Next up, we got 2 copies of the Double Striker. Not much to say here. It's just a Double Striker to end the game, right? One thing I will say is that make sure that you have a 6 cost on the field, because you need it to activate the activate main effect. Place 1 card from your hand on top of its owner's deck. If your leader's Shallot and there's a battle card with a cost of 6 in your battle area, this card in a battle area gains Double Striker for the turn. So you got to make sure you have a 6 cost card on the field before you go for the double strike swing with it. But again, you could also just play down the Vegito for 2 energy, right, which is really nice. So like for 4 energy, you could play this plus a Double Striker. Or if you get all the way up to like 8 energy, you can activate leader effect, throw down a Vegito, and then like throw down the Double Striker. So it's pretty nasty. Now we're getting into the 6 cost cards. I'm running 3 copies of this Vegeta from the starter deck. So it's a 6 cost card, 30k attack, activate main, KO this card in a battle area, choose up to 2 battle cards with cost 4 or less in your opponent's battle area and KO them. So pretty good card. Being able to cheat it out with our leader effect, swing into something, and then activate its effect to KO 2 other things is really nice. I will say I'm running this at 3 instead of 4 because I feel like this card isn't really necessary in some matchups. For example, in matchups where they just play like really big cards, like Broly, for example, like this card really isn't doing that much. But some other decks that play a lot of like cheap cards, like 3-4 cost cards, like Giblet, like this card is really good against. So this card is a little bit more matchup dependent, but it's still very good because it works with our leader effect and it has 10k combo power. So 3 copies instead of 4 feels good to me. And now we have the best card in the deck here. This is really what makes the deck work. We got 4 copies of the Son Goku, 6 cost, 10k combo power, 30k attack. On play, place 1 card from your hand on top of its owner's deck. If you don't have an energy marker, place 1 energy marker, and then when attacking, reveal the top card of your deck, add it to your hand. If the revealed card's cost is 6, draw 1 card. So this card is really like the heart and soul of the deck here. You want to try and get this guy out onto the field as fast as possible with your leader effect. He just does a lot, right? He stacks our deck to synergize with his effect and other cards' effects. He gives you an energy marker. When attacking, he draws a card, and if it's a 6 cost on top of your deck, you're essentially drawing 2 on attack, which is really nuts. And if you can get like multiple guys of these on the board, you're probably winning the game because this card is just disgusting with how much card draw it can get. So you really want to get this guy onto the field like as early as you can and just start protecting him. Then we have 4 copies of the Goku Bardock, another 6 costs, 35k attack, 10k combo power. When attacking once per turn, choose up to 1 battle card with a cost of 2 or less in your opponent's battle area and KO it. And then activate main once per turn. Discard 1 card from your hand. Reveal the top card of your deck, add it to your hand. If the revealed card's cost is 6, switch this card in a battle area to active mode. So this card is, again, a really good 6 cost. I will say the when attacking effect is really good to get rid of like cantrips or like cheap blockers, things like that. The activate main effect I don't use very often since this leader doesn't draw a lot of cards, right, until you've awakened. So there may be times where you just don't have a lot of cards in hand and you don't really want to discard a card to use this effect, but it may come up where you just really want to be aggressive. There's a card on your opponent's side of the field that you just really need to get rid of, and you need another swing, or if you're going for game, your opponent has 1 life left, you just get another swing off of that. So that's just a really good card overall. Then we got 4 copies of the 6 cost Gohan from the starter deck, 35k attack, 10k combo power. On play, reveal the top card of your deck, add it to your hand. If the revealed card cost is 6, choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area and KO it. And of course, we got multiple ways to stack our deck with the Goku Childhood, the UI Goku, the Vegito. So there's a lot of ways that we can stack our deck and essentially just KO anything, right? Which is really good. And then I got 2 copies of Gogeta. So we can't play him off our leader effect because he has 0 combo power. We do need 10k combo power to play a 6 cost off our leader effect, but it's still 6 costs, so it's still going to work with some of your other cards, right? Like for example, you put this Gogeta on top of your deck, you reveal it with Gohan, his effect will still go off because it's still a 6 cost card. And I do have the pre-errata version. Unfortunately, it says this card can't be switch active mode by the skills of your opponent's cards, which is incorrect. This card has been errataed. It should say your opponent's cards can't be switched to active mode by the skills of their cards. So essentially, they can't restand their own cards, right? So this is going to be really good against yellow because they like to restand their characters a lot. And then on play, choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area, place it into its owner's drop. Then if you don't have an energy marker, you place 1 energy marker. So all around good card, prevents your opponent from restanding their cards, and it puts a character in drop, and that doesn't trigger on KO effects. It just goes straight to drop. It doesn't count as KO. So cards that say like this card can't be KO'd once per turn, that gets around on KO effects, and it gives you a marker. So all around great card. Okay, and then we got 4 copies of super combos. Since we are playing Dragon Ball Fusion World, you need 4 super combos in every deck. Not much else to say there. And getting into the extra cards, I have 1 copy of this Burning Power of Instinct. Activate main if there's a battle card with a cost of 6 in your battle area. Choose up to 2 battle cards with cost of 3 or less in your opponent's battle area and KO them. Again, this is going to be kind of similar to the Majin Vegeta, right? That blows up 2, 4 or less, except this KOs 2, 3 or less. Again, this is going to be really good in some matchups and kind of useless in some other matchups. But again, against other decks that like to flood the board with a lot of cheap characters, this is going to be really good. And I think 1 of is fine. You can maybe go to 2, but I probably wouldn't go higher than 2 personally. Then I got 2 copies of Ultimate Sparking. This card has saved my ass so many times. So for 1 energy, activate battle on opponent's turn. Your cards that are in a battle get plus 20k power for the battle. Then choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area, and it can't attack for the turn. So I've seen some people like make the argument, say like, oh, well, good players are just gonna play around it, right? But still, I feel like it's still worth including into your deck because people have to respect it. People have to expect it. I didn't mean that to rhyme, but it did. But people are going to have to maybe change up the way they play their turn and change the sequencing of how they attack with this card, just if you have the energy marker up, right? So I think it's still worth running in the deck. For me personally, I feel like 2 is just the right amount. I've really been liking this card. This card has saved my ass so many times, just preventing an additional swing, plus giving you that plus 20k combo power. So very, very good card. And last but not least, we have 3 copies of I'm Gonna End You from the starter deck. 1 energy, activate battle. Your cards that are in a battle get plus 15k power for the battle. Then if there's a battle card with a 6 in your battle area, draw a card. So pretty similar to Blue Vegeta's Gallic Gun, plus 15k, and then draw a card on a condition. But we have a lot of 6 costs in our deck, of course, so pretty easy to fulfill that draw 1 condition. And it's flexible in the sense that you can use this on defense or offense. So really, really good card. I run it at 3 copies. I feel like that's a good amount, but I think maybe if you really want to, you can maybe take 1 out and then go 1 up something else like the Burning Power of Instinct. If you really wanted to take 1 out of these, go up 1 of these. But for me, I've been liking 3. I think 3 is a pretty good amount. All right, and that is it. That is my Shallot deck list. This is what I'm going to be running for now. Again, I might make small changes here and there. We really didn't get a whole lot of new cards in the manga booster set for this Shallot. It's mainly for the new Bulma leader, and maybe I think there's like maybe some King Piccolo support in there. But yeah, overall, there's not a whole lot of new cards from the manga set to go into Shallot. But I'm pretty happy where this deck is at right now. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what other Dragon Ball Fusion World content you would like to see from me in the future, because I know there's not a lot of people covering this game compared to other card games such as like One Piece, for example, which is insanely popular. But I feel like this game just has a lot more depth to it, and I feel like it's a lot more skill intensive, and I really like that about this game. So that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.